Alright, so we're gonna work on painting the Camaro's hood. It's originally blue, someone else painted it black. They didn't do a good job, but I want to keep it black. So I'm gonna use the Dupe color, however you say it, just universal flat black. I got some primer that's sandable. I ordered some 2K primer, 2K clear coat. Got sandpaper, sanding block, the respirator for the clear coat, and paint. This is definitely going to be over a series of a couple days, basically because it's really hot and I'd hate to paint it when it's burning hot and I'd get sweat all over it. I'm going to paint it inside my garage, but I have it outside right now so I can sand it and that dust doesn't go inside there, so it's not a pain to blow out or wash out, however. So let's get started sanding this. First I'm going to start by washing the hood. My hose broke a couple days ago, so I'm just going to use a sponge, water, and car wash soap. So let's wash this down. Alright, it's all washed down. I'm going to let it dry, use some towels, try to get as much water off as I can. It's pretty hot, so it should dry real quick. The color actually kind of looks good, like this black and blue color. I know the owner didn't do it on purpose, but it kind of looks cool. If I could do the whole car like that, that'd be sick, especially the red and black on the rear hatch. But I'm gonna dry this off and start sanding. I'm gonna take off these fake little hood vents. They're more like a plastic, like they're not the same material as the hood. So I'm gonna take that off and paint that separate, but it will be much easier to paint just the hood without having to mask that off. So here we go. I got the sanding block. I wrapped some 220 grit sandpaper around it, and I'm just gonna start rubbing away at this hood. Alright, it's all sanded up. I was using 220 grit sandpaper originally, and there were some chips in the paint. There was some dents. You can see, I don't even know how that could happen, but I had to switch to 120 in those spots. Basically, when you're sanding, you'll know you're done when it's smooth all the way around. So I spent like half an hour maybe sanding it. It's all good, so I'm gonna wash it and we're almost ready to paint. Brought the car back in the garage, and because I want the paint to look somewhat good, I'm gonna let it dry. I just wiped it down with water to get any last bits of dust, wax, whatever soap stuff could be on there. So I need it to dry. I'm gonna wait an hour, I don't know, however long it takes, and then I'll put 3 coats of primer on tonight, and that's where we're gonna finish tonight. It is now pretty dark outside, about 9:30. The hood's dry. I'm gonna wipe it down one more time with a microfiber towel. I got my primer, so I'm gonna do 3 coats, 2 light coats, medium coat, and then I have this so I don't die. Alright, and I just finished the 3 coats of primer. So right when I was getting to the bottom of the hood here and finishing up, I ran out of primer, but it should be good. It's a little spot from here to there that I didn't get, so not gonna worry about it. I will have to buy more because I have other body panels to address, so maybe one day I'll come back to this if I see a problem with it. In the morning, it should be all dry. I need to sand it down. I think it's 600 grit sandpaper or 400, something like that I'm gonna use. I'll probably wet sand it, and we'll see how it looks. You can see the waves. Part of that is the garage light, but there's gonna be waves no matter what because it's spray paint. But I think this will turn out good. It looks pretty good. It looks really good for what it was. You can kind of see there's a dent there. There's a few dents, but this is supposed to be a fillable primer, so hopefully I can just sand it out. When I was spraying down here, I saw one little hair fell out of my head. It landed on the paint, so I had to put my finger on it to take it out. And then I just sprayed over, so hopefully that's no big deal. So I'll get back to you guys tomorrow when I sand it down. So it's a nice day. Here's the primed hood. You can see the streaks, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm sure compound can take it out and polish. The only problems I see is there's little like rough spots. Like they don't feel rough, but it looks rough. I'm gonna try sanding it down. Hopefully it will go away. But I have a feeling I'm gonna need to buy another can of primer. Okay, so the little scratches and like indents, it looks like just paint chips that are just caked in there. After sanding down with 600 grit, it still didn't help. So I grabbed 320 and I'm just rubbing the wherever these spots are. I'm just rubbing it to make it look like that, so it's completely smooth. And I'm gonna have to hit this with another couple coats of primer. Alright, so I ended up buying this. It's a polisher slash sander. This will come in handy when I eventually polish the paint on the car. And it made sanding so much easier. Fortunately, they only had disc sizes in 150 and 260, I think. 240. Okay, 150 and 240. So, when I was going through sandpaper like crazy, I actually went through all the ones I had for the grits I wanted to use. Those come in a pack of 3s, I only had to use 1 of each. So that was awesome. And then I started with the 150 on the hood, and then I used the 240 to get it a little more fine. And then I used my sanding block with my sandpaper. I used a 320, and now it's completely smooth to the touch. I thought it was smooth last time, and this is way different. And I had to use that sander because my thumb, you can hopefully see it, that's a huge blister, so that hurts. So I just washed down the hood. I'm gonna let it sit out here. It's like 80, high 80s right now, so it will dry real quick. But I'm actually leaving in a little bit, so I might not get to paint till tomorrow. We'll see. But next step is just spraying the primer on there. And you can see that was definitely my first time using the sander because I have bare metal spots. Now most of these are little bumps in the hood, something I just can't do anything about. But yeah, next time we're painting. Last night I went ahead and sprayed 3 coats of primer on after finishing all the sanding. And it does look really good. I think if I put the base coat on now, it should cover up all the tiny little scratches. Like you see, there's a little one there. But this is a sandable primer. So I'm gonna go ahead, wipe this down. It says 600. The closest I have is either 400 or 800. I guess all my 600 is used up. So I'm gonna use 800. I'll press a tiny bit harder. Do that, and then I'll spray 1 more coat of primer. And then we'll be ready for the base coat. Alright, I just sanded it with 800 grit, and there are still some high spots. I just can't do anything about these high spots, not with the experience I have, which is absolutely 0. Plus, this is like a dent, but instead of dipping down, it's up. I don't even know. Same with these spots, like there's just random imperfections basically. I didn't spray enough paint here, and I sanded a little too close to the edge. This is where I started, so I learned real quick to stay away from the edges. So when I spray primer, I'll focus in these areas that are showing bare metal. Right now I'm gonna rinse this down, let it dry, and then I'll spray the primer. Okay, so the primer has been on here for about 40 minutes now, so it's completely dry to the touch. I'm gonna use 1500 grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna wet it, so wet sand this. I'm gonna do it very lightly. I'm gonna try to stay away from the high spots like that spot, because I don't want bare metal to show. If it does, I'll just spray some primer and just live with it, because I want to start painting the base coat on this pretty soon. So let's go wet sand this. Just got done wet sanding, so I'm gonna give this probably about 2 hours to dry. It is going to be over 100, so I'm sure this will be dry in the next 30 minutes. But I'm just going to play it safe. Plus, water goes down to Microsoft levels, and I want to play it careful. Anyways, there's this little bare metal showing here. Pretty much unavoidable. There's a spot over here, and then there was one more spot somewhere here. So when it's dry, I'm going to wipe down it so there's no more streakiness. And then I'm going to just spray a light coat of primer on the bare metal spots. I'll wait some more time, and then we can spray the base coat. Okay, so I just sprayed the light coat, sort of a medium wet coat, whatever, over the bare metal spots, just so the base coat won't peel, because it needs primer for that. So this is going to dry. I'm going to give it half an hour, and then I'm going to try to lightly sand it with probably 2000 grit, just something really light. And then I took the fake hood vents and I sanded them down with 400, and so they're completely smooth. The primer's still on there, so it's good to just spray the base coat on. Now I only have 2 small cans of the base coat, and it's taken me 3 primers, and this is a bigger bottle. See, this is 8 ounce, this is 12 ounce, so I had 36 ounces of primer spent into the hood. So hopefully 16 ounces is enough for the hood. I'm not going to spray the hood vents until I do the hood first, because I don't want to run out of color. So just finished all the base coats, the color paint, and looks pretty good. There's still some visible scratches, and honestly at this point I think it's just the hood. Maybe the clear coat and the polish will help it go away. So it took 2 of these, and these cans, honestly, once it gets like kind of low, like down to here, it just sucks, because it just, like, sometimes it shoots air, sometimes it shoots paint. It's terrible. So, and it hasn't been windy. I haven't been dealing with dust at all this whole process until right when I started spraying the second coat of color, and there's dust all over the hood and there's nothing I can do about it. So gonna let this dry and then clear coat. I just picked up this 2K clear coat. I ordered it off Amazon because no places near me sell it. I have a feeling I'm gonna need another can. Hopefully not. It did take like 2 days to get here, so. And let's go ahead, hit the hood with some clear coat. Okay, so it's been a couple hours. The clear coat is dry to the touch. I was kind of concerned because of the scratches, but I guess that's what orange peel looks like. So there's definitely some orange peel, and I've read that some wet sand and compound polish can just get that all out. So not too concerned. Even how it is now, it's so much better than it was before. The only thing I'm not too fond about is there's some little dirt or dust specks that got under the clear coat when I was spraying, and it's just, when I was spraying there was no wind, and then all of a sudden in the middle there was wind and blew all this dust on it while the paint was still wet, so that kind of messed with it. I sprayed the hood vents, they have the base coat, and I just hit them with clear coat. So we'll see how this looks in the morning. And here we are, final product. In about a week, the clear coat should be fully cured, at least enough for me to polish it, and that should get rid of some of the little orange peel that's still in it. There's still some scratches. The only way I could get that out is body filler or Bondo, whatever. But for what I've done to it, just spray paint, pretty happy. It looks pretty good. And now it pointed out how bad the fenders really line up, how big of a gap there is now. I guess it's always been there, but now it's just extra noticeable. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and in about a week we'll polish this up.